Hello everyone. Um Here's another video I'm gonna do. It's 12:45 p.m. in the afternoon precisely. Excuse me, I'm still sick, so excuse me. I tried to blow my nose out as much as I could before coming on here, you know. Well, I tried to take a nap, but I guess I couldn't really excuse me, take a nap, but this video I'm gonna talk about someone in the TI community asked me to do a video about foster care and its connection with the the mental health industry. And y'all know how a lot of that coincides, So y'all know that the stalking cult members, the gang stalking cult network, they make fake bad reviews on just about all my ebooks on Amazon. But I also have excuse me, maybe I can share it in the community post. You know, I have versions for free on my blog. Where for ebooks that I wrote about, like my foster care experiences, my targeting experiences, my homelessness experiences, and my mental health system experiences. Excuse me, as I said, the stalking cult criminals illegally make fake negative reviews on just about all my ebooks, trying to discredit me and to hinder me from earning an honest living through my writings. Whether it's fiction or nonfiction, they find my writings, even if it's fiction and harmless, they consider it a threat. I can write a fiction short story about excuse me, a lost dog being later on found, and they will find ways to criticize that. See, right when I'm talking, the hotel perp neighbors are making noise. So for a while, even in the last video, other than a thumping noise, wow, they doing this shit on purpose. I don't know if they're talking loud or if they deliberately put the TV up really loud. This is a very important video. Well, I hope y'all, oh man, they're doing that deliberately. And like 3 minutes after I start the video, they start with the noise. It was all quiet. I think they turned the TV up loud. It's like as if they turned the TV up loud and then opened the door on purpose. They're really bad with the noise today. But anyway, seems kind of like it came back quiet. But anyway, I didn't want this video to be like extra long because I know the Wi-Fi here is slow, and I have another video uploading at the moment. And then if I try to upload both of them at both videos at the same time, I know it would stretch out and take even longer, you know, to upload. So back to what I was trying to say. I can share the links to my foster care experience ebooks. Well, ebook. I can share the links to, you know, the blog version for free, you know. And I can share, excuse me, a lot of, I can share the foster care experience ebook. I can share the mental health experience ebook. I can share the homelessness ebook. Excuse me, and I can I don't know if y'all also want me to share the targeting ebook and the oh wow, what's the other one? They're making my nose itch. I have an ebook about, you know, suffering PTSD as well. And don't forget, I've been working on the fiction cult series on the fiction series project on cults. I don't know why with the fake IDMR cult. I don't know why I don't feel like I have a whole lot to say, you know, about knowledge of the cult itself, you know. But the real cult that I grew up in, excuse me, the fake IDMR cult. So I don't know why I feel like I have enough information to write a whole ebook on the fake IDMR cult. But I do have a couple of videos on experiences with the fake IDMR cult. But instead, you know, I've been working on a big project of, well, multiple projects surrounding the topic of a fictional cult that I'm working on, you know, that I've been trying to work on. So here's excuse me. So basically, in 2020, when I had Facebook, fake book, I tried to ask around in the TI community of anybody who's targeted that used to be in foster care, and seeing how you know, how being gang stalked and targeted, how does that relate to you know, how does foster care experimentation and the human trafficking and all that, how does the human trafficking and the foster care psych medication, you know, mental health system and all that, how does it all relate to gang stalking? You know, how does foster care, human trafficking, and mental health system and cults or whatever, and homelessness, how does it all tie in with gang stalking? You know, well, they had a couple of people who said that they were former foster kids in the TI community, but they felt like they didn't want to talk about it or relive their foster care abuse situations. Excuse me. And I'm still sleep deprived, so pardon me. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm wondering, like, how is this all connected? And I wish I had some of the research that I had from like over a decade ago. And I remember reading this probably website forum about how a lot of these people in the a lot of the foster parents practice witchcraft and that a lot of them practice witchcraft, and a lot of them are MK Ultra mind control, CIA MK Ultra mind control handlers. And I don't know if anyone heard about the MK Ultra, the Project Paperclip, and them sending excuse me, from what I think I remember reading, I thought I remember that the Germans lost World War II. Am I correct? And then, they secretly smuggled German people to the U.S. to come and create the MK Ultra mind control program through Project or Operation Paperclip. And a lot of the MK Ultra mind control programming and experimentation and the mind splitting, a lot of it involved experimentation with twins. And one of the tactics with MK Ultra mind control is, twinning. Even the people who are not genetic twins, they have the twinning, and now more advanced, the cloning. And I don't know a whole lot about the cloning, excuse me, but so like basically the former foster parents are MK Ultra mind control handlers and practice witchcraft, and they're specifically and strategically designed to systematically abuse the foster child, to break the child and split their minds, and that's why you see a lot of the situations where if foster children, if they might be seen as troubled children, or they will falsely paint you as bad. I know in my foster care experiences, there was lies, false rumors, and smear campaigns done by teachers at school making up lies on you. And like, who the hell makes smear campaigns on a freaking kindergarten? Lie on a kindergartner. Who the hell make up lies on a third or a fifth grader? When they lie on my special ed IEP, oh wow, I guess this video gonna end up being longer than I thought. If they over exaggerate and lie on you or whatever, and certain things make me question, was I really born targeted? Or did I not start to get targeted until late 1997, early 1998? Excuse me, while I was 14 years old, still in foster care. And then after the targeting, they felt like I was a threat, and they wanted to try to bog me down with more psych medications and deliberately prevent me from getting to go into the military, where I'm glad I didn't go. So I'm sorry I sound disorganized. My anxiety is really high, and like my mind was kind of focused at first, and then when I heard the noise harassment, now I kind of like my thoughts are like scrambled. But so yeah, I saw that where that website that said that a lot of the foster parents and adoptive parents, more than one website, and also my Truth DVD for Christians that I put in the link, in the description box of just about all my videos. Some of those resources, if you're able to download it, have some information on foster care abuse, psychotropic sorcery, you know, and the mind control or whatever. And it wasn't until later that I was able to scramble some resources about gang stalking and the targeting and everything. So, as far as the spiritual aspect, you know, I guess they're saying that a lot of the, well, they did say in the comments of the forum thread, I don't remember how long ago or what website it was, back in like 2012, 13, 14, one of those years, and they were saying that these foster and adoptive parents sell their souls to the devil. In order that you gotta sell your soul to the devil and be evil to, you know, work with the trafficking, the foster system, and the you know, in the CPS, DFCS, whatever, you know. Excuse me. I've now one lady that was, well, the stalkers illegally know where I'm at, but the area that I'm in, one of the ladies that was dealing with respite in my maybe junior or senior year in high school, and well, junior and senior year in high school, I dealt with this lady, and she lived not far from this hotel where I'm at. And I don't know if she's still alive or whatever, but she used to live not far from here. And she told me that the reason why they're so quick to put foster kids on drugs is, you know, psych medication is, you know, she said, she admitted to me that this was before she turned against me and started being abusive towards me herself. You know, when she was trying to butter me up and love bomb me or whatever and make me her favorite or whatever. And then, you know, when after a while she became more abusive and she tried to kill me. She tried to poison me. And she even called me the devil and threatened to poison the food of the, trying to say that I poisoned the food of the devil. The devil is a liar. You know, right before I was going to take, you know, the driving part of the driver's ed, you know, excuse me, she chose the worst morning to do that to me. That's how she, you know, she ended up being a perp with a narcissistic personality herself. She was that burnt up lady, you know. Excuse me, she was narcissistic herself, but when she pretended to be fake nice to me and was trying to love bomb and butter me up and everything, during that phase, but it's like she never got along with my twin sister. But I was already targeted by that time, you know. But I forgot when, maybe it was her evil granddaughter that I had a feud with or argument with. And the girl was 10 years old and had a bad attitude, and her mom was a ghetto narcissistic abuser, the 10-year-old girl. And then, you know, the burnt lady, that was the grandparent, you know. And excuse me. Excuse me. So the burnt up lady, she had she told me that they pay, you know, the foster parents get paid a bigger bonus by putting foster kids on drugs, even though nothing is wrong with the child. And this sets the child up for life to be forced to be like dependent on psych medications, and they brainwash you and make you think you're crazy and something is wrong with you. They keep you from your biological parents. They brainwash you to think that your biological parents hate you and don't want you. Well, in my case, unfortunately, it was the truth that my biological parents supposedly, hated me and didn't want me, you know. Excuse me. And but a lot of times it's a lie, you know. But for them to put that in your head, that to and brainwash you to hate and be against your biological parents, you know, and try to manipulate for you to have zero respect for your biological parents, your birth family or whatever. And then basically the foster parents, will make you manipulate for you to bow down to them, and have more respect for them, and then the foster mom that I had would always throw in my face about, oh, she would always throw in my face about, oh, I've been taking care of you for such and such amount of years. I did this and that for you, and ain't nobody gonna do this and that like I would or whatever, And for them to create or develop the narcissistic abuse Stockholm syndrome, for the foster mom to manipulate. She didn't love or like or care about us, but she tried to, manipulated us to love and care about her more than the birth parents. Excuse me. And the biological mom, when she was alive, she said basically that the stuff said about her was more like lies and over exaggeration. So and when you're a foster child, it's a lot of lies and over exaggerations, being, lies, false rumors, or smear campaigns about that foster child. And I think I remember hearing, and I also come to my own conclusion, that a lot of the times you have to be a targeted individual in order for somebody to maliciously lie on you. Excuse me, lie on you and set you up for your kids to be taken away and put in foster care or adopted out. And because the Masonic cult witches want to use your kids for experimentation and / or trafficking or sacrifice. It's a spiritual level to this. And I don't know everything. I don't. So, I think that the parents who, get maliciously lied on and their kids get taken away and put in foster care, and it traumatized both the mom and the kids. They try to make you think you and your kids are crazy, and then they want to MK Ultra you or lobotomize you with psych medications to make you, to try to numb you and make you, basically drill it in your head to accept the lie that you're the problem. You did something wrong. So, excuse me, and then it's more traumatic for the mom to be separated from the kids. And then, and with those psych medications that's poisoning you, not healing at all. And then you end up gaining so much weight, eating more, being tired all the time, more irritable and agitated. And sometimes you just instantly lash out in violence in ways that you normally wouldn't do if you weren't on those medications. You would have more self-control. And then to have people out in society to pick at you and harass you. And, if you have, they'll call you fat and greedy or whatever morsel of food you put to your mouth, or, whatever side effects of the medication, nobody want to believe you and they'll lie and say you're faking for attention or you're over exaggerating. And you know, and if the medications, if they're, I heard that, by the psych meds being sorcery, I heard that there's demons in that medication, to make you act not yourself, to make you feel not yourself. And if the psych medication make you just have sudden random rage enough to where you could kick a hole in a wall, or have you choking somebody, but if without medication, excuse me, you'd be the type that wouldn't hurt a fly and be more peaceful and have more self-control with anger or whatever, what else could, yeah, so if with the, they would use the court system, when they take your kid away and, put you through the ringer with the court system to cause more mental anguish and probably take more money from you, and that might be how certain parents might become an alcoholic or druggie later on. And if you might see them homeless on the street, homeless druggies on the streets or whatever, excuse me, and they might be that targeted individual that turn to drugs or whatever. And, if they're if they can't cope with how their child was taken away from them, or if they might be targeted and have like an abusive, controlling handler, ex-boyfriend, baby daddy that ain't shit and that treat them, with a certain kind of abuse, so that's something to think about as well. If you might have an abusive narcissistic, and it could go both ways with the gender. It could be a father that the mom would keep excuse me, keep the child away from the dad, and if she might be evil and narcissistic and practice witchcraft and strategically get herself pregnant by the guy on purpose and trap him with the baby, and then just so she can get quick easy money with child support. I've heard it like that. And then if she brainwash, especially in the doggone black community, because that's doggone sad, and try to brainwash, with the parental alienation, and then, especially, oh man, if the child turns out to look just like the dad or whatever, or have certain traits like the dad, and then she might abuse the little boy and be like, well, you're just like, well, you a piece of shit just like your daddy or whatever, or you ain't gonna be nothing just like your daddy or whatever, or you look just like your piece of shit daddy or whatever, or you're gonna grow up to be no good just like your daddy. And then that might internalize that black boy. I'm sorry, that black boy might internalize, those words, and then, even, how they basically destroy him mentally, and then, convince everybody to think, oh, he's bipolar, he got ADHD, and then he ended up taking psych medications, and then he ends up being a victim of you know the prison industrial complex, or they drug you up and put you on medications. And I'm wondering, how does the like, you hear about the school to prison pipeline, and excuse me, and a lot of people in foster care, you know, end up being in jail or prison or whatever, or have a record, once they grow up and become adults, or sometimes they end up homeless straight out of foster care with like no guidance, and only a select amount of foster kids, get to make it and become successful doctors or whatever, or go to college and stuff like that. Now, ever since I was a teenager, the stuff that the foster mom used to tell me, that I'm gonna grow up to look like this, I'm gonna grow up to be this, I'm gonna grow up to be that. All the stuff she said that I'm gonna grow up to be is strangely the gang stalking smear campaigns that they make about us. If the foster mom used to tell me that I'm going to grow up to be a homeless, schizophrenic, drug addicted prostitute, why and she kept repeatedly telling me that, repeating the same abuse to my mind, and she had us in a fake religious cult, and she ran her own household like her own cult leader. She was her own cult leader of her own household, the way she ran it, and everybody, would be fearful of someone who would be 4 feet 11 inches tall and only 98 pounds. And everybody's scared of her. People 6 feet 7 inches tall and 400 pounds. Oh, you scared of her. But yeah, everybody was fearful, of the abuse of fake foster mom Adrian Felder. Everybody was scared of her. And like, even people that look like her or resemble her or may talk like her, or I still get like that PTSD kind of moment, So even though I know I'm not schizophrenic, what a relief. And hold up, she used to lie to people and say I'm schizophrenic. Come to find out, that was not my diagnosis. So-called mental health diagnosis. And I'm not on drugs. I don't even take psych meds anymore. They making my nose itchy with the weapons. I'm not on psych medications anymore. And I never prostituted, even though they would have random perps trying to traffic and trying to offer me to prostitute and trying to traffic me. I turned on all their fake offers, And I never in my entire life exchanged money for sex, or vice versa, So I never prostituted. I'm not on drugs. Never have been. And I'm not schizophrenic. But here, during dealing with the targeting, I'm forced to be homeless, And then the false rumors lying and saying that you're a pedo, But hey, I was a child and you used to, well, not sexually, but you used to physically abuse, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically abuse, financially abuse me with that fake ass $20 a month allowance. You know, excuse me, $20 a month allowance to clean your house, 2-story, 9-bedroom house. I don't know how many doggone bathrooms, but the foster mom used us. Certain people say that. Come on, see, you heard that thumping? Um, I heard a thump again. They said that the foster mom using us as cleanup slaves and only paying us $20 a month, that was considered labor trafficking. That we were victims of labor trafficking, you know. So yeah, the foster mom. I mean, for her to just drill it in our heads to say all these horrible things, you know, and then when my senior year in high school came, and the foster mom used to say that, um, I should have left your nasty, filthy, dirty babies where I found you. And you were so nasty, filthy, and dirty that the social workers didn't even want to touch y'all. And now here I'm walking around. See, they make my nose itch. I'm walking around here, you know, being fearful of dirt with severe complex PTSD and OCD, and cleaning it and spraying and sanitizing with rubbing alcohol, cleaning everything I touch with rubbing alcohol. I even, you know, feel like a certain way about this bed that I'm laying in, because I like on the like I saw an orange stain, and I don't know if it was clean or dirty, on the comforter, the big blanket, and like on the sides of the blue thing, the bed curtain looked like some stains or whatever. Um, you know, but I like spray and sanitize before I got on the bed. But but here I am homeless, and the foster mom, and I heard this was common with the foster care too, that the foster parents still try to control the foster parents, and the foster care system still try to control the foster child even after they age out of foster care. Is because they said that the former foster mom, Adrian Felder, was our, MK Ultra mind control handler. And there are some people saying that, with the biological parents, that when we got taken away and put in foster care, that the SWAT team came and drew guns at my biological parents, and that's when we got taken away, because our biological brother Pete lied on the biological mom Frances about something with money or whatever they were feuding about. And excuse me. And you know, but then after that, after some time, I guess the biological mom Frances Grandpre, I guess she got her revenge, and had Pete locked up for so many years in jail or prison or whatever, again over money. I don't know exactly, what was this thing with money or whatever. Um, And then the biological dad, Arthur Grandpre, was in the, I think he was in the army, right? And he fought in the Korean War. And he fought in the Korean War. And there are certain people who are suggesting, y'all heard that? There are people suggest, come on, man, y'all doing too much. They are suggesting that I don't know if it's true or not, but there are people who are saying that, you know, with the family rumors talking about, oh, Arthur's not your daddy because you're not light skinned like him or whatever. That they go with the noise again. You know, Arthur's not your daddy because you're not light skinned like him. You know, certain people feel like, you know, if he felt like, oh, we weren't if he had any belief that we weren't biologically his or whatever, then they felt like, well, if they didn't know who the real dad was, then it would have been easier for him to just, you know, hand us over to the MK Ultra and the mind control or whatever, you know. But I believe that we are his biological kids. But now he's been, him and the biological mom Frances, they've been deceased for a while, you know. Excuse me. So there are people who are saying that it was part of the MK Ultra mind control experiment with the twinning with me and my twin sister, that they brainwashed us from young to not get along and then grow up for one twin to be targeted and the other twin to be a perp. You know, and then they say that the perp twin got some targeting too. You know, but a lot of people say that my twin sister caved in and sold out and became a perp. You know, that she succumbed to the program. You know, and they said, well, Candy, you still standing strong, you still fighting, whatever. I don't know how you could still be homeless. And, well, I've had my freaking suicide attempts throughout the years back then, you know. And I heard that a lot of MK Ultra victims come from broken homes or dysfunctional homes or foster homes. Not necessarily even foster homes, but just broken homes, dysfunctional homes, you know. Excuse me. So I don't know what all this was about. I wish they had more people that could spread and share this video who can have answers, you know. But I don't know many people who in the TI program, you know, that were former foster kids. But I've heard people say it's common, but some people just don't want to talk about it. Like, they don't want to talk about the trauma that comes along with it, you know. And then for them to downplay our trauma and suffering and try to tell us that we were luckier than other foster kids and this and that, whatever, or we didn't have it that bad, you know, or our abuse wasn't that bad. So you admitting that I was abused, but you just want to try to downplay it and say it wasn't that bad, you know. And then to come back to the biological family after turning 18, just to be rejected and deal with more abuse. So from foster and biological family members are abusive and want nothing to do with me, really. Or, they think I'm crazy. I mean, they stigmatize me as crazy. None of them have any kind of natural love or respect. I'm being targeted and they're trying to traffic me and sacrifice me, and nobody cares, nobody values my life. My life does not matter. It's scary, it's frightening to be forced to be socially isolated, but not much support and nobody really to protect you. Or for people to sit there and watch you be abused and then side with the abusers, side with the perpetrators. You know, excuse me. So, I'm thankful and glad to be freed from the foster care abuse and control, the cult, and the mental health system. But it sucks that I have to be homeless. That's another kind of prison right there. You know, and a lot of the foster children are mentally disabled. So if they're mentally disabled, and probably can't even be aware of what's going on, you know, and may not even know that they're targeted, you know. My heart goes out to them. But the former foster kids or even current that are able to speak up or know what's going on, I would like to hear from y'all. And people want me to shut up about foster care abuse because it's negative and from the past. But then there's the small amount of people say, keep doing your videos because your videos are helping people. You know, it's like I was born into punishment. You know, like the foster mom, she kept us punished from everything. And if we did get to participate in something, you know, she made it miserable for us or not memorable. Like she stayed eternally mad at us for years, but would not give us up. Was the money too good? Where is anyone to call her greedy and money hungry? Stealing our money. You know, when I was working at Popeyes my senior year in high school, my first job, 17 years old, they workplace mobbed me and was stealing my checks. And then the money that I did get, the foster mom forced us to hand our work money over to her. You know, and then I didn't get to have much of my money for myself. And what I did spend, got yelled at. And the foster mom still trying to control me after I was of age and aged out of foster care. Still controlling and abusive. Once whatever big whatever trust fund check, Social Security back pay, she took it all. Well, it was very controlling what little bit that I had. You know, the money the thousands of dollars that she took from us after turning 18. And then, you know, take all of my money and then just leave me to receive the state money of $114 a month. Or she would demand an answer for how much money I have in the bank, and if I didn't have much, she would yell at me. Well, you're taking it all. How can you lie to people and say I spent my money on XYZ and I don't know how to manage money? But every time I get money, I'm forced to hand it all over to you, and then to come to the biological family and be treated the same with the same abuse. And so for them to lie and say that I mismanaged my money, tell me how the hell I'm supposed to manage $20 a month, or even $115, as a child, and $114 as an adult. I'm going to college. While everybody else had cars to drive. And the fake foster mom tried to butter me up with before I got the Social Security back pay. And she was like, ooh, and you could get you a new car and this and that, whatever. She was taking my Social Security checks. And they say she committed fraud by over-exaggerating and lying about the household expenses. And then in 2017, the Social Security Administration gave me $219 back. $2,019 back. Excuse me. Yeah, she gave me, the Social Security Administration, they gave me $2,019 back in the year 2017. But it didn't look like they went after her. But yeah, when I started getting Social Security, I started getting like $362 for Social Security and $203 for SSI. She left me with the $203 check and was very controlling with how I spent it, and then kept the $362 for herself and did who knows what with it. I didn't ask to freaking, be living underneath her after I turned 18. I was trying to fight hard to get my own place and be independent, and she just kept me trapped. Every time I tried to be independent and trying to get a job and everything, she would sabotage that job and smear campaign and slander me to the potential employer and try to convince them and manipulate and convince them to not hire me. She felt threatened by my independence and freedom. And, if she didn't do that to me, I could have been, and I didn't know if I was, I didn't know about being blacklisted, when I was 18, 19 years old. But I was wondering why I couldn't get a job anywhere, filling out application after application after application, and still nobody want to hire me. And they said that after the first job with the Popeyes and dealing with workplace mobbing, they said I had been blacklisted from employment or blackballed after reporting the manager for sexual harassment. And they triggered a severe Tourette's outburst out of me, So, when it comes to psych medication and stuff like that, probably other medications, they say certain physical medications is like a gateway to the psych medications, because like if you might suffer pain and then you take pain meds and then the pain medication affect you in a certain way that you might be affected of having mood changes, and then they try to say something wrong with you, you need to see a psychiatrist, take medicine. And then it's like the side effects of one symptom, they want to keep giving you more medication and more medication. And you know, and then one side effect leads to another medication, and another side effect leading to an additional medication. You know, so I had 2 strokes when I was 5, and you know, I had all those surgeries growing up: nose surgery, eye surgery. And with my hypersensitive ear condition, some people said that if you had nose surgery, then you definitely been implanted. And that they are telling me that that is the reason behind my hypersensitive ear condition, you know. But I don't know. But yeah, ow, my fingers hurt, my hands hurt from holding my phone. I'm trying to think of what else, um, you know, I can't remember what else, but as I said, I'm gonna share the free blog version of my of I'm gonna share the free blog version of my you know, the foster care experience ebook, and the mental health experience ebook, and if you want to, the homelessness and the targeting ebook as well. And now with the targeting ebook, a lot of the links are got wrongfully taken down. You know, a lot of the links to what I posted, and I also post a lot of links to leave people to do their own research. You know, excuse me, you know, to let people know that other people are speaking out about this, or other people are going through this too. You know, I'm not delusional or crazy. I'm not the only one talking about this. So I love y'all. I'll see y'all.